Alright, welcome to part 2. Kind of got both engines on the stand. You guys don't know about this engine yet, but we're going to get there. Story about this engine. This is the engine that we just pulled out of the car. We got it up on the stand, and we found some bad news. The block right here in the front, right behind the starter, is actually cracked in 2 places. I have no idea how it happened. The car's had coolant in it instead of water. It hasn't got below freezing here yet, so don't really know how this happened. The coolant leak started here a while back. It was another reason why we wanted to pull the motor, because I couldn't find where it was coming from. So sure enough, the block is cracked. So enter in this motor. This is actually a spare motor that I built for my Ep.2. This motor is a K20 A2 with a Brian Crowder stroker kit to make it a 2.2 liter. It has a very expensive CNC ported 4-piston cylinder head on it, which isn't needed for this kind of car. So the plan is we're going to take this motor apart, take the cylinder head off of it, put this cylinder head on this motor with the 2.2 stroker kit, button everything back up, put VTEC back in it. This has Skunk 2 drop-in cams. This has Brian Crowder SFWD cams. Locked in VTEC with, not sure how you guys will be able to see from back there, but she's locked in VTEC with Drag Cartel billet rockers. Way overkill for a street setup. We're going to go back to a traditional 3-lobe style VTEC utilizing a Skunk 2 Tuner 2 camshaft. So that's what's going to go in here. So I made us a little sheet. I don't know if you guys can see it from back there. All I had was an orange Sharpie. I got to go get a black one. But I'm going to swap the heads, install the Skunk 2 Tuner 2 cams, reinstall VTEC. So head goes up on here. This head's going to go back in storage for that car. And then Tuner 2 cams, which are new, got them on the way. Put the VTEC back in it. Install all the accessories. We're using all OEM HNSI accessories. Clutch. The clutch that was in the car, let me grab it real quick, was a ACT twin disc. As you can see, she did not like being slipped. It's not terrible, but it's not great. This has 2 iron sleeves, which again is not great for street use. I've got a comp clutch on the way with the organic street pad on the front. Sorry, not comp clutch, Clutch Masters. This is 725 twin disc from Clutch Masters with a street organic clutch on the front for clutch disc. So get motor and trans installed into the car. Then we have to integrate the wastegate dump, like I said in the previous video. We've got a fuel pump for the car. We've got the Works drop-in fuel tank assembly unit that we need to put in, along with running a new feed and using the OEM feed as a return. We have to wire that in using a relay. We have to make the fuel feed line. We have to make the fuel return line going from the regulator into the factory hard line. We have to put injectors in. We're going from 1000cc injectors that were on it to a set of alpha injection 1650cc injectors. We have to mount the regulator, and we have to make wastegate lines. I'm choosing to make the wastegate lines out of 4AN PTFE because I had just normal like hose lines on it and they melted, not even 30 minutes driving with the car, so upgrading those to AN. And that's kind of the game plan. I'm trying to be a little bit more organized with the second video here. The first video I kind of noticed after editing was a little all over the place. So I'm trying to be a little bit more organized, a little bit more professional. And that's the game plan. So next order of business is pulling everything apart and getting everything swapped over. Got you guys over on the workbench now. Got the rocker assembly pulled off the cylinder head, get the cylinder head off the motor. I'm gonna show you guys how I've got these rockers locked in VTEC. I'm also gonna show you how I'm gonna put VTEC back in them. So, once you get these off, they should just slide right off. And factory, let's see if I can slide these up. They have these. We'll see how you can see that. There's a spring, and then these little pins. And what these do is they sit inside these rockers right here. And whenever VTEC engages, normally it shoots oil through this rocker shaft into the rocker, shoots that little pin that way, so it actually comes in this side, and locks these together, which engages your VTEC, so it can ride on the center lobe instead of the outside lobes. Normally it's just on the outside lobes. Well, what I have is a piece made by Speed Factory, which replaces all of that business with that. So, to reassemble, you're just gonna take your left side rocker. These have been in storage, so I'm gonna make sure that I clean these real well and reapply some grease to them. But you take this, and it just fits right in there. And for the most part, it'll stay there. You take your center one, and the widest of the three goes in the center. It doesn't have an orientation, it just kind of goes in there. And then the smallest one, side with the hole in it, goes in just like that. And that's your VTEC. So there's your difference between a rocker arm that has OEM VTEC with all the factory pins versus a pinned rocker arm. As you can see, it's all one unit. It all stays together. These are actually awesome, but with the 8th gen, we're wanting a little bit more of a street setup. So the VTEC killer, while it sounds really cool, it ruins the drivability and the gas mileage of the car. So we are putting traditional VTEC back in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys back on a time lapse, finish up all these, and start working on the other motor. Alright guys, it's a few days later. Finally got all the parts in. The head gasket took absolutely forever to come in, but we've got the 2.2 stroker here, we've got the RBC cylinder head, we've got our Skunk 2 Tuner 2 cams, ARP head gaskets, just ARP 2000, and a Cometic 30,000 head gasket, and we've got everything to put this sucker together. So instead of cutting and stopping and cutting and stopping, I'm just gonna put you guys on a time lapse and get the sucker slapped together. That way we can button it up. I think I'm gonna end up painting this block black. The other one was silver, and then the one that was in the car before that, when it was all motor, was painted black, and I really like the look of a black block in the 8th gen. It just hides kind of everything because there's so much going on in that engine bay. So after we get it all set together, we're gonna tape it up, paint it black, and go from there. Alright guys, we got the cylinder head on, got the rockers on, rocker shafts, all that good stuff. Now we're working on the cams. I've already got one pulled apart. Got to swap everything, the gears and the sensor triggers over to the new tuner 2s. Again, we're going from skunk 2 drop-ins to tuner 2s. And these were locked in VTEC, and now we've got true VTEC back in the rockers. Everything can move independent, so we'll pick it back up from there. Cams are in, everything's torqued down, timing's all done. Guys are still on the tripod, so I'm not able to take you down further, but alrighty, let's get this valve lash done. On to valve lash. Here we come in here. Make sure we're at 0% lift. We're doing 008. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. There we go. Intake and 010 exhaust. So. Got that one a little too tight. Right there's what you want. Be able to put it in there and pull it out with just a little bit of drag. You know, that one's too tight. This is the tedious part of doing this. Alright, once you got them set, what I'll do is I'll just put the closed end on it and try not to turn it. I'm just gonna lock her down. And we come back, we're gonna hit it with a paint pen. Just to know those two are done. Let me go back here, just double check. Good, good. Alrighty. Once again, I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse, finish these up, because I'm sure you don't wanna sit here and watch me for an hour do these, so let's get at it. I wanted to bring you back into video out of the time lapse, just to show you that once you get to one like this where the lobes are pointed down, they're not pointed up like this, these have tension on them, so you can't adjust your valve lash. So what you've got to do is turn the motor over. And I never took the plugs out of this head whenever I pulled it off the other motor, so she is making compression. Pretty good compression too. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make it to where those lobes point up. If you can, see if you can get both of them at the same time, which we do here. We're gonna go ahead and do those two. All right, we're gonna call part 2 right there, guys. We've got our 2.2 stroker long block fully assembled. Basic overview of the motor again. It is a K20 A2 with a Brian Crower 2.2 liter stroker kit, utilizing a Brian Crower billet crank, Brian Crower 625 plus rods, and a 10-to-1 compression Wiseco piston. We have an RBC cylinder head with Brian Crower springs and retainers, Supertech valves, Skunk 2 Tuner 2 camshafts with factory RBC VTC, and then Type S oil pump. We don't have a front cover on because I've got one on the way. I didn't have one to match this block because the one that came off the old motor was a RBC, which has the big hole back here, which you can use a washer for, but I just don't like it. It's just a potential leak. So I've got the correct timing cover on the way. As soon as I get here, we'll button that up, put everything together, and then see about getting this in the car. If you guys have any suggestions on anything that I can do to make the videos better, or anything you guys want to see specifically, please leave them in the comments below. This is a massive learning curve for me. It's something I'm not used to doing. I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with it, but it's still going to take me a little bit. So any input you guys can give is greatly appreciated. But with that being said, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, let them know about the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.